Stirring Dirt Racing, host of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah, online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Bash for Cash. Is it still morning? Yeah. Who knows? All the hours are running together now. I feel far more alive today than I have at any other point through the course of the weekend. I'm certainly feeling much better after getting most of the snot and goop out of my face through the course of last night. So awesome welcome to everybody. Big day on deck here at Bash for Cash with Smash It Demolition Derbies in Chillicothe, Ohio. Ross County Fairgrounds, the home of it. DerbyNation.tv bringing you all the action on track. They're going to be taking off here in about an hour and a half with all the activities. I believe they're going to kick that one off with the youth division. The youth car is coming through tech inspection. Right now, you can see that is one of the cars that came out of Virginia, the Flat Rock Derby team. That's Katie Silvius, Brian Silvius, one of the regulars over there at the Shenandoah County Fair in Woodstock. There's another Flat Rock car behind them, and it's got a 40 on it. Might be a patent, but it also might be one of the, I'm not for sure on who that one is.
Today's the money day here at Bash for Cash.
Money day.
A lot of money on the line. $30,000. That's just to the winners. That's to the three winners of the compacts, the 80s and newer kicker class, and the turn back the clock. Not to mention all of the standalone classes that are running today. 2 80s wire heats.
Three 80s
You're
wire
right, my
heats,
bad.
street stocks, 70s wire class.
Brokers wire, yep.
And 70 wires class, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about some of the youth stuff, too. We saw Tabitha Relier go through tech inspection here just a few minutes ago.
On her 16th birthday. Happy birthday to Tabby.
Yeah. But before we get into any of the stuff that's pertaining to Bash for Cash, what's going on, we've got some two pieces of news. One good, one much worse. Evan King suffered what we thought was third-degree burns yesterday when a faulty radiator cap came off and he was scalded on his chest and face.
Oh.
He came away with a sunburn.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is the
awesome.
luckiest guy in the pits.
Awesome.
It was pretty swollen up. You know, obviously, his face was pretty swollen up, but he wasn't injured in any way other than having a little bit of burn. They're putting some aloe on it to get it to settle down.
Good deal.
More somber notes from the same neck of the woods. Evan's a guy that runs in Stockton County Fair, Dunkirk area, Little Valley. Dan Kolop, who's a compact guy from out there in the Dunkirk area, loves demolition derbies. He's often shared his GoPro footage when we were doing DVDs. He was in a very, very bad accident in racing last night. Essentially fractured a number of bones in his face and broke his leg, and we sent some well wishes out to him. He's doing okay, all things considered, but sending well wishes out to him because never like to hear about that happening to anybody, let alone one of the guys on from the Derby family like this. That was very, very unfortunate, but yeah, that news came to us from Johnny Mayhem from up in the Dunkirk area, so appreciate him relaying that. And yeah, it was tough news when I woke up to that. There were some pictures of some conversations and stuff, but hopefully speedy recovery for Dan. You hear these are some of the wire class cars that are coming through tech inspection behind us right now. In addition to those youth cars, we've got 3 groups of 80s wire class. The street stock division is the purest of the pure of demolition derby. That's going to be running today. We hit on that. The youth division. Alan McNeil brought a Lumina. The Lumina has won the street stock the last 2 years.
Wow.
So he's riding the odds, and as of right now, I haven't seen another Lumina sign up for entry.
Nice.
And that he's going to be up against pretty much all Crown Vics. And he's no slouch. He can drive.
No, absolutely.
He can do okay. He can hold his own, but he's got to be focused solely on those front tires because he's definitely outmassed and he's going to be outpowered. So he's going to have to capitalize on that mobility and drive his wheels off.
A lot more agility with that car.
Absolutely, definitely more nimble
with the front wheel drive car. What did you think of the heats yesterday?
The heats were good. There was some conversation about one thing or another, different gripes and complaints, which you're always going to have in demolition derby, and I submit to you this as your alternative. Had they taken, instead of done 14 16, 20 cars, depending on what it was, in each of the heats, and dialed it back to like 10, would we still be complaining about it?
Somebody always...
Because then you would still have the same docket of 4. You'd have 4 of each. And you'd have the same number of cars going to the feature, theoretically. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's
as I've touched on it before,
and it's really it's unwieldy.
As I've touched on it before, some people just like to complain. They like to find the what they perceive as the bad and everything. Tim tried to do something for the guys that didn't pass inspection. He offered up a $5,000 purse for a one run and done for the turn back the clock. I believe he did it for the kicker class also, and he got hassled about that. I'm going, but as a promoter, okay, so for this class, the inspection, drivers can say it was the inspectors say it's the drivers. It's a give and take. But for a promoter to say, okay, look, I understand you guys put this, a lot of time into it, a lot of money. Here, let's run for $5,000. $5,000 is better than most mains pay across, okay, it's not the 10 or 11,000 that they were going to be running for, but still, 5,000 isn't a bad payday.
No.
But yet people were still, well, that's wrong, and got guys that if they'd just done it right, then they wouldn't have this issue. Well, sometimes stuff just works out like that.
And that was one of the arguments that was coming through tech inspections. Like, well, last year we were allowed to do this, but last year you were complaining that stuff was getting through. Mm-hmm. So now that tech has tightened up, now you're complaining that stuff isn't going through. It's like, stop the bitching. And, at the end of the day, just stop.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, I don't know. I haven't seen Tim to hear, because I know, and he said no entry fee. Just go sign up with the Smash It trailer that you want to run. And, so I haven't seen Tim to see what's going on with that. But, I mean, how can you bash a guy for trying to do something for the drivers? I mean, that makes no sense. Right. It's frustrating. I mean, I've been around derbies, forever, and usually it's hey, too bad, see you next time.
Right.
But Tim is trying to do something, and for people, the comments on Facebook, and I've touched on it before. It gets annoying when somebody tries to do something good, and people still try to find a perceived evil in what they're doing. So it's kind of frustrating. But the heats, I thought the heats were interesting. Steve Siopa, he had 2 of the brown wagons in his heat.
Took the fight right to him too.
They said go, and that's who he was after. Earned himself a Mad Dog Award. Mm-hmm. Steve, Mark, and Jimmy Johnson will be in the feature. I got to feel that they're probably not going to change the tactics, and I think it's going to be a hell of a battle in the turn back the clock class.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one to watch. That's going to be much later. We've got a lot of other features to get through. Tabitha Relia, we touched on her. She finished second, celebrating her 16th birthday. That class is stacked. There's some very, very talented. Little Freebie came through.
Yep. Had some white on his car. Going to have to do a little bit of fixing.
Well, beyond that, Scott Drevenek's kid come through with his car, and when they were spray painting it, he stood on the side of the inspection line and said, "Oh man, come on, you got to be kidding me." That's brought up in a Derby family right there.
It's built to the rules, man. First thing out of the car he said was, "It's built to the rules." So it's cool. I stopped over and talked to Toby for a minute, and I said, things a little less stressful today. And he said, yeah, so far. So, it's already been a long weekend for these inspectors and flaggers. Yeah. Half the crew was in here inspecting until we left at around 10 o'clock, and I think there were still guys inspecting.
There was a long line of cars to be inspected.
Yeah, there was. So I honestly have no idea what time they inspected till.
They've been wrapping up at midnight. Yeah. I don't know if that's.
And then, the guys that went out and worked the track, I mean, you have a derby of this size, and you can't do it without a great crew. But definitely, I'm looking forward to the standalone features today. Full-size trucks.
I saw some of them tooling around. There's some
Jason
nice builds.
Sauer has predicted that he wants to hit something as fast as that truck will go backwards repeatedly. So Jason Sauer of Pittsburgh Fine Art, just
Most Wanted Fine Art.
I'm sorry, Most Wanted Fine Art. My bad. Yeah. From Pittsburgh. But I'm looking forward to it. Some of the best action last year was in the 80s. Wire class.
80s wire classes.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. Of course, we got the Contis for the kicker cars and the turn back the clock, and there's some good cars going in there. JC Molly's had basically a fresh wagon. had some training trouble. They had that. We stopped over last night, and we're hanging out with Mark and Steve, shooting the breeze, and they had the training changed in his car already.
Oh.
So that's ready to go. That's basically a fresh wagon. It's going to be tough to get through those consies. There are some really good cars in those consies.
All the bronze have qualified.
Yep. 80s kicker class. Our buddy Daniel Wirt, he was out and driving hard. He was driving Midwestern style.
Yes.
And laying out a lot of heavy licks. And
he lost steering too early. I think
Yeah.
if he kept the steering a little longer, he'd been the hunt for Mad Dog.
Yeah. He. I think he ran it down because his car was holding up really well. He impressively enough, he managed to collapse his bumper and buckle the frame where it was plated.
Awesome.
So yeah, he definitely hit somebody pretty hard. And that's an 03 and newer. So
how's that concussion today, Daniel?
he's he was driving hard. He said he had some fun. He had to replace a lower A arm and then fix the steering. I said, this is easy, man. I said, you got to rebuild way more than this at Blizzard Bash. So, and but I haven't seen them this morning yet to see how they're doing. But there's some those consies are going to be tough.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to those.
And I think that's the second thing on track after the youth. And they go into all the one and dones.
Yeah. I think they run the consies first. They have time to rebuild cars after, and then they'll go into the one and dones. And those one and dones last year were intense. I mean, there was hard hitting, fast paced. New York took a lot of hardware home on Sunday last year. We had a couple Mad Dogs. We had a couple top 3 finishes. So hopefully we can represent here again today. Looking forward to it. It's a little bit less of a wait today to get to the wrecking action, so that's always good.
Justin Country Boy Smith.
Chris is catching up with some RC stuff back home. Apparently, they wanted to know if he was going to be at the race today.
No, they're asking me if I was planning on teching something at our tour race on Wednesday.
Oh. You are.
Good.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah, I try to be.
You are. That's what you do. But looking forward to it, man. It's
on the topic of the RC stuff, Hank Pensick is, I think, the only one that hasn't qualified yet. His boys qualified for the feature today. They're going to have something like 35 cars in the main.
Wow.
It's going to be big.
I seen Hank for a minute yesterday. Got to talk to him a little bit. Hammer and Hank is a cool dude to just shoot the breeze with. He really is a good guy.
You met him before, though, right?
Oh yeah. I've met Hank. Was hoping he'd have something full size to run because Hank puts on a show.
Yes.
But he's just here with the RC stuff, I guess. And
Adriana ran. AJ ran. She got her
yes. I'm sorry.
She
My
got
mistake.
her bell rung.
Yes,
a little
my
bit
mistake. Yes.
She ran the compact consi, and she was looking some way and got her head spun the other way against her will, and her neck was hurting her pretty good. And it was waffled pretty bad.
Yeah, there was definitely some pretty hard action yesterday. They were getting after it.
Ron McClung, I bumped into him in the pit area today. He's got a 2017 Silverado. It's 5 months old, and it has 42,000 miles on it. He got it January 10th.
That is insane.
Yeah. He's like, I haven't got a trophy from Ohio before, and I got one from Tennessee last weekend. I want to get one from Ohio because his life goal is to get one in all 50 states if it kills him.
Yeah.
And was hanging out with him.
It was funny. I saw his son Brian, who's ran Turnback Clock the last couple years, been to the feature. I said, "You running?" He said, "No, I've been spending a lot of time building cars for somebody else." So he's Brian's helping his dad this year, and hopefully Ronnie. And Ronnie's going to put on a show. It's not an if. It's Ronnie's going to put on a show.
He wants the Mad Dog,
Yep.
And you got to remember, he has a 1992 Caprice wagon in the Joker 70s wire class.
Yeah.
So he's going against the old iron with that thing, and he's got it all. The back end looks like it was done right, without giving away any secrets. Because when I looked underneath, he said, "Get out of there! What do you think you're doing?" Whoa! It's like Ronnie. So it's a Chevy.
Ronnie will run.
It's a '92 Chevy wagon. There's nothing special under there. I don't care what you do. It's not special.
I don't know. They out west they build those cars. They hold up well.
Yeah, we're not out west.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
from Canada.
That's true. That's true. And he's going to stand on the gas.
Yes.
Because that's what he does.
And he said that in the last 2 years, we've seen Tiffany Hahn and Mike Klinger be basically the class of the field. And he said, "I am going after them." And I said, "You got some leftover blood from Caledonia Crash and Jam Festival last year." He goes, "Yeah, I haven't forgot that."
Yeah.
Now he doesn't hold a grudge. He informed me, and he's not bitter about anything.
But he's not going to turn it down.
But I don't think he's going to pass.
No. We did see Mike and Tiffany's cars yesterday. I think we might have got it on one of our our lives.
one of our Facebook Lives.
Yep.
I think we're going to do that a little bit later on today.
They're
We'll
very
do
cool.
one
I
or two
enjoy
more of
doing that.
those, and I think that's going to wrap up our day. One or two more of those Facebook Lives after we wrap up here, just because we don't want to step on Derby Nation.
Yep.
There's so much stuff going on today. They're going to be live in about 45 minutes to an hour. They're going to get everything going. We got Mason Robert Foster waiting over here in the wings. We're going to be talking with him. But back to Bad Ronnie. Can he stand the nose of that in one shot and still get Mad Dog?
It's going to take more than one shot. That class the last 2 years has been very intense. You're gonna have to deliver big hits for, I'm gonna say, at least half the heat in order to get Mad Dog. Realistically, Ronnie might run out of car before he runs out of heart. But we're gonna see.
Now, I can give you a laundry list of times where he ran out of car before he ran. We had Clarion.
Yep.
Was it Clarion? Yeah, was it Clarion? Yeah, it was Clarion. The night that Mad Mike
Yep.
pulled the piece out to get unhooked, and I'm getting ahead of myself. The night that Rick Clark pulled the thing out front of the seat to get unhooked from Mad Mike. We had San Filippo.
Yep.
Wire Class in Dunkirk at the Lake Erie Rumble, Tennessee.
Yep.
When he had that Pontiac just last weekend. And he said the front was still straight. It's like, I don't know what you define as straight, but one of us has been using the term straight long for all of our lives. But, I mean, I joked with him and I said, man, you almost finally had that win. He goes, shut up. He's a good dude.
Bad Ronnie's a good dude.
Good dude.
Saw Rick Clark a little bit yesterday. Got to shoot the breeze with him. Always good to see Rick.
Ronnie said, if only I had the championship money that Rick Clark has won, because I've got all the trophies that match with it, but he's got all the wins.
Yeah. Rick's got a lot of wins. Ronnie's got a lot of Mad Dogs. They kind of go well together.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
But you're saying about seeing Rick?
About who?
Rick Clark?
Oh, I just got to talk to him for a minute yesterday.
Was he his regular excited self?
Yep, that's Rick. That's Rick. All he brought down was the RC car for his son to run, which is cool. I was kind of hoping he was going to be here to run, but I'm sure we'll see him somewhere throughout our tours this summer.
On the topic of bringing just RC cars, Pork Chop and his boy.
Yep.
Little Chop ran in the RC stuff. And
qualified?
No. I had the cars. He had the cars shipped to me, and then I built the cars up and sent them to him. And his boy was furious with me because the Cadillac dumped in the nose and went down. He was like ready to fight.
Really?
Like,
wow.
I was looking at it. I don't know what he did wrong or what happened, unless he got a car that had a higher bumper or something. I didn't see the heat.
You got to cheat to eat, man. You're not cheating enough when you build those bodies.
And then the back of the wagon buckled. I was happy with how it folded, but they thought that it had gone down too much. The nose of it went up nice. It folded right over itself. Get a better car builder, I guess.
You want to have him jump in here and I'll give my seat up?
Yeah, if you want to do that. Sure. Yeah. Building off our conversation about the Canadians, we're going to have Mason Robert Foster jump in, and Devin Germain also going to be joining us here at the table as you hear yet another one of the compact youth cars pulling away. You're going to have to hold that one because we don't have a stand for it. And then there's room for Mason. So we'll start. Devin, Mason, appreciate you coming on the show to hang out with us for a little while. First venture into Bash for Cash. Devin, it was lucky that you came. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the car to rob parts off so that he can get out there for the feature. But nonetheless, I mean, give me some of your first thoughts. Hold that right up there so they can.
That was probably the most fun run I've ever had in the car.
Yeah. Try that one more time. Go ahead.
So that was the most fun I've ever had in the car. Can't wait to come back and do it again next year.
Yeah. Now, what are you going to bring next year when you come back?
I'll bring another W body.
Yeah.
There's a lot of learning to do because it's the first one I've ever built to that extent. Walking around here, you're looking at other cars, taking pictures, learning a lot for next year.
How about the conversations? Instead of just walking up and taking pictures, talking to the guys on what their executions are.
Some will give up the secrets. Some don't even want you looking at their cars.
How do they feel about you taking pictures?
Wow. Some like it, some don't.
Yeah, we got some negative feedback last year from some of the guys that got pretty hostile for me coming up. And they're like, "Oh, well, that's not your car, sir." Like,
yeah, I know.
I realize that. I don't have a car
right?
here. I have a camera.
So why go back with a W body when we saw the Fox bodies do so well?
Well, we can't find Fox bodies in Canada that are clean. I've never built one, so I built a lot of W bodies, so I don't want to be trying to do something I don't know for a show this big.
Can the W body hold up to the Fox body?
I don't think so, but I know come to win anyway.
Right.
I just want to come and have fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with driving style. We're not here to win. and
You're a bit more
you're gonna
cavalier
see
with the
that.
throttle.
Yeah, we just put the foot to the floor and we hold on.
Yeah.
So you came away with a Mad Dog Award.
I did come
out
away
of
with a
that.
Mad
I mean,
Dog.
what's that mean to you?
Oh, that's the whole reason I'm here. I
Right.
mean, we were coming anyway, and last year this class didn't have Mad Dog. As a fan, it was a little underwhelming for the most part. I mean, there was some highlights, but with Tim adding the Mad Dog trophy, and then especially when he posted the pictures, like, I'm taking that home.
Right.
There's no, I'm gonna try to take it home. I'm taking it home.
Right. Now that was what secured your spot in the feature, correct?
Yeah. They maybe 5 minutes. I'm not entirely sure. It was pretty early, but the damage is done.
Right.
It's hurt.
How about your prospects for the feature tonight?
I'm going for Mad Dog.
Yeah.
If I can hook up, that's exactly what we're here to do it. I mean, sitting here working on it, sweating buckets. We were like, couldn't have let us go 2 minutes more and finish wrecking the car first. So
Right.
I can't go to the feature. I'll just take my trophy and go home.
Right.
But
How bad is the car?
the passenger front rail was in probably 6 or 7 inches.
In towards the firewall or in towards the middle of the car?
No, she packed pretty much straight to the firewall. With help from the juiced up crew, Andy Anderson, Donnie Lane, those guys, we got her pulled out within about an inch of where we started from. It's not perfect. We threw the 9-wire to it, send it right back in.
So the 9-wire is it just to hold it, or is that sucking it tight and replacing a body mount?
Well, we're just trying to keep the K-frame to the actual subframe.
Gotcha.
We don't know what we're doing. We're flying blind.
How about the backside of the car? Did it
Backside
belly
is
out?
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't win any better.
Yeah.
We're not bellied out whatsoever. Sitting up tall, back bumpers folded up, middle of the trunk lid straight. It's hard.
Nice. How about your car?
Oh, my car is right junk.
Well, I know that it was junk, but I mean in terms of it, it's sustaining.
Well, I was hoping to bring something back for the concert just to get out there again. Looking at it, like the trailing arm in the back broke, or the spindle broke where the trailing arm was mounted.
Right.
Then the back started going all funny on me. So I started using the front. I went nose to nose with some of those rear-wheel drive, and that was a mistake. Because they didn't bend, I did.
Right.
Not gonna lie, Devin, I plan on making that same mistake.
But I went nose to nose with one of the Supras, and he kind of just waved me in for another one because he knew he was good.
Right. What ended up coming off of your car to fix his?
We took pieces of the rad hoses, little connectors,
Oh, it's just knick-knacky parts. It's
Heat
not
yeah,
like
sensors.
heat sensor.
Nothing real substantial. We had
One other car robbed my security box.
Yeah.
I didn't need it, so
your car's been handy to have.
Are you leaving that car here?
oh, it's coming home.
Oh, it is coming.
I got a lot of parts to take out of it.
You're gonna set it in the front yard and let everybody know how
Oh,
big
that's
it is?
lawn ornaments. It's gonna look
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, mine won't get touched until after fall brawl.
Yeah,
They'll
they'll
just
probably
sit in
sit there till the
trees.
fall.
What else have you guys got on your schedule this year when you get home?
Well, we got WOW in 3 weeks now.
I think we got about a month, but we've each
About a
got a
month.
show in between that as well.
You have one show in between?
Yeah.
So you got to finish 2 cars in the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, we haven't even started our WOW car yet.
That's good. That's a good plan.
We got a lot of work ahead of us.
Yeah. I got a minivan in Millbrook. That's gonna suck, but
Now, why is that going to be so bad?
because those suckers don't really bend a whole lot.
No.
And minivans hurt big time.
I got friends out there, and we're just like, well, go to their junk. We don't care.
What do you think of Bad Ronnie's decision and how he built with the 92 Caprice back end?
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what Ron drives. He's gonna junk it. It's gonna be awesome.
He also was talking about pulling the tailgate off that Caprice. I'm like, and then
might
he's talking about
better.
leaving it on. And it's not going to make a difference at the end of the day.
I actually drove one of those on the road last year.
Yeah?
Roadmaster wagon. Girlfriend blew the head gasket out of it. I ended up selling it to Jordan Ingram. He ran it straight stock at home, and he did the same thing. He took the tailgate off, put a couple nasty notches in it. It actually went the right way, but I was driving a W body, and so I drove into the back of it and blew the humps all to crap. But
Right.
I mean, it's not exactly a mystery that they're not a great car.
The front ends are great.
Yeah.
The front end was hard.
Just back into the corner and point and shoot.
Yeah, right.
When it comes down to it, Ron doesn't care. He's here for a show.
Yeah, he just wants to junk it.
I'm anxious to see that one. The wire class is going to be outstanding. The 80s wire class, 3 groups of those. A lot of conversation about what the guys from Dunkirk are going to do. And that one, their mission is not to win, just like as you guys were
Come
describing.
in and hold on.
Yeah.
Now, are they the guys that won the Mad Dog here last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. We've been looking forward to that all weekend.
Mike Malechko is going to be out there. It's going to be a fun heat to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's going to be 3 of them. I mean, you got plenty of time to catch that. Sticking with the W bodies, not looking at any of the wire classes and stuff. I mean, what's the wire class here compared to what you're used to in terms of wire class at home?
The wire class here is like our pro stock, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our wire class here is closer to the street stock at home.
Yeah.
Street
stock for us is our stock.
Yeah, we bolt in a seat bar behind the seat, swap out a Vic rebar on the front of her, bolt her on, wire the door shut.
And is that all compact cars, or do they have stock Vics in there?
Well, they have stock Mini as well. That came into effect last year and has really taken off at home. But my bread and butter is a full size straight stock where we're running the W bodies against the Vics and whatnot, and seem to be able to make them hold up, but finding them where they're not rotten is difficult.
The mobility, is that what gives you advantage?
Oh, big time.
Yeah, you can spin those around a lot faster. They're a lot more maneuverable to dart in between other cars.
And with a straight stock, they're not really allowed to put their good motors in their rear-wheel drive car.
Oh, okay.
It has to be a stock, not necessarily stock to that car, but...
So is it make to make? Like you can't put a 318 into
Yeah.
Chevy?
No, it's got to be Ford to Ford, Chevy to Chevy.
Gotcha. Well, that's one way of keeping it in check a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, it
Keeps it fair.
yeah, pretty much. Everything usually comes out junk.
One of the most wanted fine art paint jobs pulling into tech inspection. You'll see it behind us here momentarily,
Yeah, those look really cool.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a peek at him doing the Joker giveaway car. That guy's got ridiculous
He's got a lot of
talent.
skills.
Did you see his road vehicle?
Yeah, it's parked
that's
outside
awesome.
here. It looked awesome.
It's pretty nice. We're going to see Jason Sauer out there in the truck class. It's going to be a good one. What about the heats for your counterparts? How'd they make out in the turn back the clock and 80s classes? BJ Haney was out there.
Yeah, BJ is fuel tank split. So they bought another one. They're putting it in. Do a little bit of body work to it. He should be ready to go.
Yeah,
For the
he
consi
was
then.
still straight as an arrow in the front.
And then Sean Woodham, I think tranny gone. So I think they're going to try to fix that up and put him back out there. He's got a pretty strong car, so
Trainee changes, man.
it's a lot of work.
They're working
but
hard right now.
They're out there wrenching on it, so.
You guys did not have the best conditions to work on your car yesterday with the rains that came through.
We kind of gave up on that. It sat under the tent since, and we just kind of stood around and watched our friends drink.
Well, the crew's out there working on it right now.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah, we hope so.
It's a
They've been
prevailing
left
rumor.
unsupervised for, well, no.
Well, never mind. They're over there
in the
drinking
background,
beer.
and they're drinking. Awesome.
Are you
There's our
guys,
support crew.
are you guys staying over tonight, one more night, and then driving home tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're... apparently
We are not. We are not. No.
We have... we're about 10 plus hours home.
Yeah.
He's a lot less.
Yeah, I'm
so-
about 6.5 or 7.
But you don't have to deal with the Toronto traffic on the way home. So
We don't go through the main city. We cross the border. We're good.
Yeah, you're like 10 minutes from home then. We still got 4.5.
Yeah.
Is that all on the QEW?
Yeah, up to the 401 and then through Toronto. It's not fun. So we're leaving here probably about 4:30 tomorrow morning.
I had a joke on deck for the QEW, but I lost it.
We try to avoid it at all costs.
I hear that. So what about late in the year? You made reference to the end of the year, the October shows, the fall brawl. What are you guys building for that?
I'll be building a Camry for the Mini Smash and probably a couple's car for Christy to drive.
You better watch that probably. She's
Yeah.
watching.
She is, but we'll see. Yeah, I got her Illumina this year for that, so.
I really haven't got a clue. I've got an 06 Hemi Ram like Dan Bolton's running. That is intriguing, but
Yeah.
I'm not a motor swap guy, so I will run it Hemi. As soon as Jeff Schumann can figure out how to get me some headers on that sucker,
Right?
it is gonna scream.
Is that something you're going to run up there?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I've got a yard full of stuff, and ambition's running pretty low, so
Right.
We'll see what happens. I'll take
these bills
something.
burnt us out pretty bad.
Yeah. You have any thought to run in San Filippo?
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't even know
We
what
got
you're
a lot of
talking about,
bills.
so nope.
I have a lot of bills to do, so we'll see if there's time.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. I assume that's New York.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm out of the loop here. I don't know.
Well, guys, any final thoughts or anybody that you want to make mention of here before we part ways?
I just want to thank our pit crew and everybody that helped build the cars, all our sponsors that helped do everything. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, we've got some awesome sponsors. I mean, last minute coming through. My buddy's been sick as a dog. My tire guy, John Kehoe at Tweet Tire, came through for me, dropped him off the day before we left. I mean, he looked like he was dying, but he brought them. They held up. We're trucking. I mean,
Awesome.
we're hurting, but watch that blue car.
Awesome. Well, guys, again, I appreciate it. I'll take that. We'll get that shut down. Thanks a lot for coming on, guys. It's always good to
thanks for
see you.
having us.
Congratulations on the Mad Dog, and I hope you can do it again in the future.
Right on, man.
Enjoy the
Thank
show.
you.
We'll see everybody later. There goes Devin Germain, Mason Robert Foster. Mason winning the Mad Dog Award in his compact heat. And now getting ready for the feature. My understanding is the call has gone out behind us for Fatty to come and join us here at the table for a few minutes. I know Brian was very anxious to get Fatty on, and here he comes. Fatty's coming up. He's a fella in the green shirt. There comes Fatty.
How we doing today, buddy?
Well, you look spry this morning.
Oh yeah, 30 hours of inspecting the last 2 days. It'll wear on you a little bit.
How's everything going from your perspective?
Today's been pretty good. Yesterday we had some issues with in the kicker class. We had a couple issues in the not a problem. In the turn back the clock we had a few things. One thing was you're allowed a 10-inch bumper shock and a 3/8 plate. A lot of guys didn't do that, but they ended up tilting it twice. You can only do it once on the 03s instead of on anything. So
what do they do? I mean, what do you give them in terms of options? I know that was the thing that we kept coming back to is Facebook's been quiet.
Right.
You know, people haven't been too over the top in terms of the inspection, even though we've had cars that are on the trailer. And I heard you guys talking over there I hope that we haven't beaten the point, but now we've got you here and I want to bring it back up. Nobody was told to put it on the trailer.
Right,
on the
you're
trailer.
exactly right.
They were given options, and if they didn't choose to take it, then they elected to
You're
load
exactly
themselves.
right. There's only 2 cars that we looked at them and said you cannot run this event, and it wasn't even in the 80s class or the turn back the clock. It was actually an 80s wire cars. We did give you the option to fix it. If you don't like that option, you have the option to go home. So technically, we have not sent anybody home. Right. They just didn't like the way we had them fix it.
Right. In terms of answering that, on the one side, we had the criticism that things were getting through too readily last year, and now we have a tighter belt with a more complete set of rules. Albeit there's already been some admissions from Tech that we need to clarify or rewrite sections for next year. And we have a reduced car count. How many cars were loaded for one? Because it wasn't from those divisions per se that were trailered. They chose not to fix.
Right.
How many did we lose there? And is the complaint about having a lower car count fair? Because now you're making up for what the complaint was last year. You're enforcing the rules as they are.
Right. And see, the way I say it, we're not going to lose the integrity of the line. If you don't want to fix it, we're not just going to. I don't care if there's 5 cars or 500 cars. We're going to inspect them the same way.
Right.
It's the biggest derby in the world. You know, we try to be as fair as we can, and like I said, we didn't send anybody home. We gave them options. They had the option to put the shock in. They could take the tilt out of it. I mean, there's so many different options, and don't get me wrong, I build derby cars. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So, I mean, I don't know what I would do in that situation as a driver. I mean, they had time, but once again, it's a lot of work.
How about the raffle car? How's that put together?
The raffle car is bad to the bone.
Yeah.
It'll run, it'll get it. It's a very clean wagon. It's got a good drivetrain. It's got the top of the line parts on it. I don't think it gets much better than that raffle car right there.
Today, the wire classes have really been dominating the conversation. What have you seen in terms of the cars coming through?
You know, the wire class is all right. It's pretty straightforward. It's just little things like window bars. You're not allowed to have a steel window bar in there, so we'll let you put 9 wire. It's just anything. You know, we're going to try to push this and pull that, and we've had 3 cars that's been loaded in that class.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact that they could have probably put kickers in a 3/8 plate and ran our other class.
The rumor that I heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because it came over in that neck of the venue when I heard this, was it was up to 90 cars that elected to go home.
No.
It's not that high.
No. I'm going to say in the kicker class.
I mean, total for the entire event.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say 90. This is what I know of, and I've been here all day. There might be 10 kicker cars. There's 4 turn back the clock cars.
Yeah.
There's 3 80s wire cars, and I don't think we've seen it.
So that's
maybe too many compact cars. So you're looking maybe 20 at the high end of it.
So with 550 cars registered at this point, I think attendance is still plenty strong.
Right.
It's still a remarkable feat to go through all those cars in the span of 4 days.
Yeah, and you know, as tough as it is, our crew makes it so easy. You know, I mean, everybody gets along. There's no bickering or fighting. And I think we got the best in the business. I mean, you got Toby Hiley, Nick King for compacts, Chuck Clark. You know, I mean, we got Toast, Billy Eastep. I mean, the list goes on and on. Mike Decker. I mean, you got them from the new school to the old school to mini cars to trucks. I mean, we try to do it the best we can, you know.
How many of these guys are going to be at Blizzard Bash teching?
Well, I know that we're going to keep the Blizzard Blast crew because they do a fine job down there. You know, they got it running. They know the system. I know, I think me, Toby, and Toast is going to go down.
Yeah.
Just, you know, we're not going to try to step on anybody's toes. That's a whole different ball game down there, you know. So I got to go down there and get my feet wet, you know, kind of check it out. I was told to stay calm when you see the cars because it's a whole different world down there.
Open-mindedness is
very,
key.
very open-minded. So,
How's that reception been from your point of view in terms of how this transition has played out? I mean, you guys are looking at now running Bash for Cash at the beginning of the year and finishing the Smash It season at Blizzard Bash.
I mean, to me, you know, I was with us when we started out with 8 derbies.
Right.
You know, at little county fairs. Now we're the biggest derby company in the world. To me, it don't get no better than this. You know, if we could put on every big show and every county fair in the world, I'd be down for it.
Right.
You know, I mean, but I mean, it's going to be a little different. You know, like I said, I've never been down there. I've personally never been to Topeka down there to even visually look at the cars. The trucks, I've watched it on TV. The trucks get a little crazy. So, we'll have to look at that, but we're not going down here to change anything, step on anybody's toes. I think they do a fine job. Sam did a great job with that show to build it what it is, and just hopefully we can do the best we can with it.
On the topic of the trucks, what about the trucks that we see here today? We got one.
Well, you know, I've had a couple guys who are not used to inspecting trucks, and they're like, "Oh man, look at these." I said, "Buddy, if you go to Topeka, these are stock trucks." I mean, very, very stock trucks. But you know, we try to keep it mild. We don't like the big points on the backs of the bumpers and stuff like that. You know, it's just a whole different world up here with the trucks.
These are kind of in the same realm of what the detuned Minnesota rules were when we went up to Minnesota, Winter Slam and Crossroads a couple times. And it works great. All the trucks are bent at the end of it, but they can run a long time and do a lot of damage.
You know, that's just like with the trucks. We know we want you to hit with them, put a good show on, but we want people to go to work the next day. You know, we don't want anybody hurt. So,
everybody so far, on the topic of going to work the next day, everybody so far been safe. Had a couple rollovers, the one gentleman, and I'm blanking on his name in the heat yesterday. It was a shot that he took on his own. He tattooed Eric Weiss in the right rear corner, rolled himself over, and he's just going over. He put his arm out the window to brace his fall.
Oh, Lord.
And the car came over on him, and he was favoring the arm, but he appeared to be okay. He didn't require any medical attention.
That's the first I've heard of that. I hope he's all right.
No, it was right at track in when it happened, and it was scary. I mean, if that car, let's say somebody's coming behind him and got him in the undercarriage and slid that car, it would have rolled right up on his arm.
Yeah, that would have been very bad news.
Would have been a bad day.
Yeah, keep all hands in the ride until the ride is come to a complete
well, it's
stop.
instinct. I mean, it's instinct. You know, you start falling over, you just brace your fall.
Absolutely.
And I got to give him credit. He used his forearm.
Oh,
if he'd used his arm straight out,
it would have been bad.
Getting a new elbow, sir.
Yeah. Where's Josh Decker?
Who?
Josh. Oh yeah. Never mind. No, should I put my sunglasses on when I say Josh?
It would help.
Okay.
Try it. See if it works.
Do I got to get a serious
Put your glasses on. You got to. Now, who are you looking for?
Josh Decker.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, old Hollywood.
He's at home.
He's
at home. He had some stuff going on. He had some stuff going on with family, and Ben, I believe they had a tournament this weekend. So,
like baseball tournament?
No, his son plays. His son plays basketball, so they've got AAU and stuff. So I believe he was tied up with that, so he couldn't make the trip, unfortunately. And I don't think any person here is going to argue him watching his son, who's in high school, play basketball.
No. I tell you what, my daughter actually, they qualified for the state tournament in softball yesterday. I missed it. You know, If Russ would have been here, I'd have been at the game, but, we had to be here.
We saw Russ come
Yeah,
through.
Russ. I'll tell you what, I've been telling everybody, don't be surprised if you don't see old Russ today.
Yeah.
It's driving him crazy not being here. And
Did he come yesterday?
he come Friday.
He was here
He
Friday,
come
I
for
know
about
that.
an hour or so, check some shit out. What's messed up when he pulled in the garage, we was all standing around doing nothing. So, yeah.
Did he lose his mind?
No, he was very calm,
Yeah.
but I'm sure I'm going to hear about that one later. But no, I mean, it's tough without Russ. I used to give Russ a lot of crap about, I inspect the cars and you do this. I can't wait to have Russ back.
Yeah.
I mean, I never realized how much Russ did until I had to put my feet in his shoes, and it's a lot. I miss him to death.
Now that, the game plan is that Russ is coming back. And, There's no challenges there. Are you going to be taking on additional roles to take? This event has gotten so big for Tim and Russ to try and carry so much of this on their own. It's a lot.
The good thing about it now that, I've proven to myself and our guys that I can run this line. So it's probably going to be, Russ can go off and do other things, help Tim out so Tim's not running. Because shows like this, everybody thinks you get some porta-johns. There's so much to it.
Right.
And, I never realized it either, how much it was to it until I put my feet in Russ's shoes. And that's just in the last 3 months.
Right.
My phone's been blowing off the hook. It's just amazing what Tim and Russ do. And still live an everyday life, work full-time jobs. And
how many messages were you told in the inspection line that you sent knowing that you hadn't?
Probably 150 at least. And then, I've probably got 400 that I talked to Russ. Now, there was a couple guys that I talked to Russ and showed me text messages, so I honored what Russ said, Right. Russ is the man, and I don't want him to throat punch me when I get home.
Right. So now after the last 3 months, because it used to be that you'd rather, if you had to get in a fist fight with one of those two, you would prefer to get in a fist fight
It
with
was
Russ.
Tim. Russ. I would love to fight Russ instead of Tim, but
and now
Russ is the baddest dude on the planet. We went to Topeka, Kansas after getting his wisdom teeth pulled on Wednesday, jumped right in the truck. He's been going through all this chemo and the radiation. He pulled in here. He's the strongest guy I know, and I don't want no part of him in a fist fight. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, he's truly missed by the crew, the fans. I just can't wait to have him back. So
about 8 o'clock tonight, you're gonna be breathing a sigh of relief.
Hopefully by 4:15.
4:15.
4:15, we're done. We got drivers meetings at 4:30. So hopefully all my cars are done.
Right.
I might be able to enjoy the event a little bit. But yeah, you're probably right. It's probably gonna be 8:30, 9 o'clock before I get to relax a little bit.
When was the last time you saw a bed?
I seen one. Well, I set my alarm last night when me and Toast got back to the. What's crazy about me and Toast, we complained about being here all day. We go back to the hotel room and stood in the parking lot watching derby videos for 2 hours. I told him, I said, dude, we got a problem. I said, it's disgusting. But I set my alarm last night and it says you will awake in 2 hours and 21 minutes. Awesome. Me and Toast added it up. In the last 2 days, we've inspected 30 hours, 15-hour days. So
wow.
And, like I said, we've been pretty thorough. I was told that whatever's on that paper, Jeffrey, you go by. And that's orders from headquarters from Russ, and that we've tried to do that to the best of my ability.
Right.
So
it's not hard when you have that as your guide.
Right. Yeah. He's good. He's real good. So and we can't, like I said, I can't preach enough how much we can't wait to have him back.
Can this show get bigger? Is there room for it to expand?
There's big things coming.
Yeah.
There's big things coming. Just stay tuned, folks.
Is the focus turning towards those wire classes? I
tell you what, it's hard to keep. We'll just talk about to turn back the clock. Everybody knows the car counts down. When you're on.
But why is that? What's that being in the inspection line among all the officials? What are they attributing the decline in turn back the clock class?
Well, the problem with I think with the turn back the clock car, a wagon's $3,000. In the 80s class, you can have your same drivetrain, you can have your same protectors, all that you spent the big money on, and you can buy a body for $550.
Sure.
And see what's hard now is when you're only getting 50 to 60 turn back the clock cars, and I'm turning away 90 to 100 80s wire cars.
Right.
So in my opinion, and I think everything's shifting to that. All of us derby drivers are getting old. We're getting tired of building them for 3 or 4 months. You can build an 80s wire class in 2 weeks if you have your drivetrain, your setup, and it's just getting that class. I honestly think that's going to be the next big thing.
Is the given what we saw this weekend, is the turn back the clock class in jeopardy in any way?
that's not my call.
Yeah.
You know, Tim and Russ will have to sit down and figure the numbers up. You know, can you justify having the 50 cars when you're turning 90 away? I don't know how they do that. It's not my part of it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm an old school guy. I love watching them old school cars. I love it. But at the end of the day, if I don't get to watch them here, Topeka, here we come.
Right.
You know, so,
Right. Just start sending them all to Topeka.
right. You guys
It's like,
want to run them? Just drive a
You
little
have a
farther south.
you have a 75 Cadillac? I got just the place.
Right, right. You know, I mean, and that's the good thing about Tim and Russ. They try, like this show here. What's great about this, if you want to weld on a car for 6 months, we have that class for you.
Right.
If you just want to beat the windows out and come, we have that class for you too.
In terms of that $5,000 purse offer that Tim put out there yesterday, how many cars signed up for that?
The last I heard, there was one guy signed up.
One guy signed
One
up.
guy. And I
Free
heard,
entry, $5,000 purse.
Yeah, and I heard there had to be at least 7 cars for it.
Yeah.
So, and I haven't been over there to check. I had one guy come up and ask me about it, but I haven't heard
Was
much.
that? And I only caught bits and pieces of it. So correct me where we go astray. The offer that was put on the table. Was there a separate division between the Turn Back the Clock and 80s? Were the 80s cars allowed to run? Was it just Turn Back the Clock?
No,
what were
the
specific
way I
provisions?
was told that it was going to be all the cars that was going to get sent home. So if you have a wagon, you could weld a 3/8 plate on it and put kickers in it. For,
And if you had a Ford that was trailered for some reason, you would be running with the wagon
yes,
that got the kickers.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. We basically go off our, with the kicker rule and the 3/8 plate, because I wouldn't think it'd be fair to send somebody out there in an old-style sedan with no kickers, no 3/8 plate against a Crown Vic, the smash it class. I mean, that's just not fair. So, but I mean, to me, I'd have probably jumped all over it. You're running for 10 grand against 80 cars, or you could run for 5 grand against 12.
Right.
I'd have been all over that.
Right. With no entry.
With no
I mean,
entry.
you've already. Well, I mean, your entry was already paid.
You already paid your entry here, but I mean, if you add it up, I mean, you get your event shirt, you get into the gate, you get your weekend pass. So I mean, you're really not out anything.
Right.
So
it's not a bad deal.
But I mean, who does that? Who sends cars home and then goes, "Here, guys, you're here. Let me give you this.
Yeah. Give me an opportunity."
So Tim tried to make it right the best he could.
Those guys that elected to load, do they still get their passes and their shirts and stuff because they
Yeah.
pre-registered?
As far as I know, Tim didn't take any of that away from them. If you guys are here for the weekend, if you want to stay, you're more than welcome. If not, you can leave. I mean, it's kind of a raw deal with that.
Because I mean, you're still taking care of the drivers. You're still
right.
being acclimating, and they just can't run per se.
Right. They just can't run the big classes, and like I said, we don't want to lose the integrity of the line. And that's what it all boils down to. Because I'm not getting throat punched by Russ. He's got catcher's mitts for hands.
So, you were in inspection line on the old iron stuff.
Yep.
And then you saw the conversation on, it was Friday night, right around 11 o'clock or so, when Toby Hiley was talking with Don Santel.
Okay.
Did you see that and just think, there's a lot of winds talking over there, I should probably just stay over here?
I love getting in them conversations.
Because you learn a lot in a hurry, don't you?
Yes, you get very educated.
Not to insult you. Don't take that wrong.
No. You get very educated very quick. Because they're going to tell you 3 things, 3 different ways, but it's the same thing. Right. They're very good at what
they're arguing over commas and ands.
Yes. And we had one typo, an A-arm strap. This could be 2 by 2 by a quarter. Well, there's that little apostrophe up there, so they said they thought it was 2 foot.
Okay.
At that point, you got to use common sense.
Right.
I mean, I don't think you could put 2 foot on. Well, you could. But
on that apostrophe, as you said, the smallest of typos.
Right.
One of the rules for let me make sure I got this right. The Turn Back the Clock class said the window bars are supposed to be blah blah blah.
Right.
The bars intention was plural for all the bars and all the cars and all the
Right.
classes. A number of drivers interpret that the bars. Oh well, that's his bars. We can run 2.
Right.
And
I get on Facebook like everybody else does. I've seen some cars. Seen a car with 2 window bars. Called Tim immediately. He said, "I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. Read the rules and call me back." The guys that's got the window bars, when they got here, I said, "You got me. But now that I think about it, we seen Siopa last night. His roof got caved down.
Yeah.
It was 4 inches from his gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we got to look into. Do I give him the halo bar off the rollover bar all the way back to keep it from collapsing like that?
Right.
I don't know. That's something we got to look into.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many gray areas, but at the end of the day, I told my guys, we got to use common sense. We're not going to let them get crazy.
I don't think. Was there that many gray areas though?
No, there's no.
I don't
with
think-
derby
I-
drivers. They're
well,
all,
yeah,
they're
well,
all gray.
In Ohio, you build how you want and just
In
cut when you get
Ohio,
there, right?
yeah, you do it first, just beg for forgiveness last, so. But I mean, overall, I think everything's going good. At the end of the day, you can't make everybody happy, and you're never going to put on the
I
perfect
hope
derby.
you didn't take our conversations. I'm picking on you too bad.
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. I like to clarify things up like that because you get on. There's a lot of rumors floating around and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, hobefully the features are badass and
They're going to be.
They're going to be rocking. So
the youth guys are going to start it off for us today. DerbyNation.tv carrying all of it. DerbyTees.tv handling all your camera angles and your on-air commentary. We're hanging out with Inspection Line like we've done all weekend. Excited to be here again, time and time again. Always learn something here. Just kicking it off with the youth cars. Then we've got the consies for the turn back the clock and new style classes. Then we go into the wire classes. 3 groups of wire events for the 80s and newer, the 70s wire class, the street stocks, and then trucks, compact feature, and then
I believe the way Tim's going to do it, we're going to run the 80s and newer feature first, and then the turn back to the clock class is going to be last tonight.
So I lost count. I think that's 10 rounds today, starting at 11 o'clock.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think my guess at 8 o'clock is off. It's probably going to be closer to 11.
You're probably right. You're probably right. So, yeah.
We had a lot of time on the track for the compacts and the 2 consies, but then those wire classes were like 15 minutes each last year.
Yeah,
they
them
ripped
boys
off so quick.
I tell you what, them boys don't play.
No.
I mean, and half of them, like, what's the Mad Dog pay for this class? Well, that's Tim's department, so. They were rocking last year. The Joker wire class, it's always rocking.
Look
That's
at the suicide just pulled in.
Oh, that's that Billy Benet from Florida. Yeah, he had some trouble getting front bumper brackets for that class, but he ended up getting them. So
Adrian Gilbert behind him pulling out in the JYD car.
some good cars there, good builders.
Yes,
Very good builders.
But again, you come back to that same thing that you were saying earlier. It's like you look at all these cars and they're like Ron McClung. That car was basically free that he got.
Right.
So he's why not run it here? It's easy build, simple, and I don't have a trophy from Ohio yet.
Right. Everybody wants a trophy from Ohio.
I've heard that story so many different times though. When you go up and down the line, and there's cars that are like I hate to say it this way because I don't agree with it when I see it online that they're getting wasted in the wire class. But you know what? If you're gonna smash it, and that person bought it first, it's theirs to do whatever they want with.
What's funny about that is if you look at all them guys, you might get a couple young guys in that class, but they're all older guys. That's how they was running back, 10, 15 years ago. Right. It wasn't all this political stuff. They didn't have the engine protectors. They didn't have it where they need 55 gallons of fuel. We're going to go out here and we're going to get busy, and that's the end of the day. That's why that's the only heat I shut my inspection line down for and let my crew go watch it.
Yeah.
Because it's that badass.
Yeah, 70s wire class.
Yeah.
70s wires class has also been the catch-all for the cars that aren't clean enough to run in the turn back the clock class.
Right. But I'll tell you what, there's some clean ones out there. I've seen a 76 Chevy Impala out there that I could probably put the windows in and I'd drive it every day. Yeah. It's nice. Yeah, it's really nice. So.
Why is it that there's so many 4-doors in the turn back the clock class? I mean, we see wagons and we see long body Cadillacs ruling the day, 4-door Impalas, 4-door Caprices, the Buicks. We don't see a lot of 2-doors. And you would think with the way that the track is set up that a Riviera or, some guys are even saying a Monte Carlo with a shorter wheelbase would be more maneuverable against those big wagons, those big body cars.
To get around, you're right, but to hit one of those big wagons, if that big wagon gets a hold of the back of that Monte Carlo, it's bad news. I mean, you got a Buick or an Olds, you got a little room to play. I mean, me myself personally, I love a 2-door Buick or Olds 98. I mean, that's my car of choice. I take it over a wagon, any of them.
Ron McClung has one.
Really? You think he'd donate that to me?
I don't think he would. I think he'd sell it to you, no problem.
Yeah. You see, like I was talking to Toast, he likes a 2-door Caddy. I guess it's all preference and what you can afford. I mean, these cars are cheap.
I should probably clarify that for you real quick. I think his is an 89. That's what you want, right?
Exactly. 87. It's got the little dimple. Yeah, the 87 is where it's at. So.
We were talking about those cars that were so clean. We were tooling around. It was awesome to see all the cars that were being built in the camping area for the wire class.
Oh yeah, it's insane. It's insane the way. I don't understand why they do that though. I don't want to work out. Well, I don't like to work on them. I'm fat. I got a bit of a weight problem, so. But I mean, to each its own. They want to get here. They got all weekend. Give them something to do. I understand. If it keeps them out of trouble, I'm good with it.
To get back to the conversation about the big body cars and having room to play, does that also, is it one of those, I don't want to give anybody ideas, but I'm sure they've already thought about it.
Right.
With the way that you can do your door bars,
Right.
can you then mess around with tolerances and how many inches you can go back into those back seat door bars and help hold the arches up by having that extra little bit of length?
Well, see what we did, the door bar, everybody thought they could run it clear back to the hump. Well, it's got to be 2 inches within the door seam.
Right.
So it's just a little bit past the kick panel, but on a 2-door, that gets into that so-called post right there. So if I was running and turn back the clock, I'd have a 2-door because I can bring my bars back a little farther. I could, but like I said, it's all preference again.
Yeah.
I mean,
you do see a lot of them. They do seem to grow out here because the wagons are always so clean.
Oh my God! Some of I don't want to throw anybody's name out there, but the Braun's got the baddest looking wagons on the planet. I told them. I mean, they're good guys and stuff, but just the craftsmanship and the time that they take, and I mean, there's a handful of guys out here that are just the thought process and the time, and I mean, the hell, the money. It's the most important part of it. I mean, most people are like, I got this much money in one car. Well, they got 3. I mean, it's just insane. But their cars are clean. There's a couple other wagons here that are just as clean or maybe even cleaner. There's some nice wagons here today.
Showroom pieces.
Museums.
Works of art.
There's probably, I want to say we added up, there was like 10 or 11 GM wagons. Probably 5 of them were drivers.
Yeah.
I mean, that nice of cars.
But there's nothing too nice to smash, right?
Never. That's what they was built for.
That's what they were built for?
That's what they was built for. Anything with a roof rack or a Buick Electra, anything in the 70s was built to crash.
There is some truth to that.
Yeah,
One of the innovations of the bumper shocks and stuff. They were trying to make cars safer.
That is true. Very true. How's everything going for you guys? Safe
going
trip
good.
Down? Safe trip down?
Yeah, it was a safe trip down. Yesterday we were going to go up and do a bunch of stuff on Vendors Row, but in between the rain showers, we didn't want to tear.
Did they get the
up.
RC Derby going? And all
yeah, everything was rolling off.
Good?
The features should be. I'm guessing the features probably going to be taking off here in about 5 minutes or so.
Good. How many did you guys have show up?
They had piles of them.
Really?
And they were
really
what
good.
they were doing is
good.
they were taking $20 an entry, and you get to run 3 times, 3 chances to qualify.
Yeah.
And then if you still want to buy back in for the Consi this morning, it was another $10.
Oh,
and then
that's perfect.
it was full payback, like 40, 30, whatever it was, 40, 30, 20, 10 or something like that. So
that's just neat
some
as
money
heck.
down.
That is just that. It's fun. How can you not have fun with that? I mean, that's good time. So hey, Russ just pulled in. Russ just pulled in. So what that means is I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you need to get out of here. I'll see you later.
Thanks.
Always good to see you.
You too, buddy.
There goes Fatty talking a little bit about inspection and things along those lines. Gonna go over and say hi to Russ real quick. Brian.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Yep.
awesome.
Russ pulled in and Fatty said, I gotta go.
Yeah, I just saw that. If you had to call me over, I went over.
He gave us a thumbs up, so must be we didn't do anything too awful wrong.
Yeah, we haven't been kicked out yet. We're
Yeah,
doing all right.
We didn't get kicked out. Man, I had a great conversation with Fatty about the rules and the interpretations and discussions about, 2 doors versus 4 doors like we were talking about last night. It was a good talk. And we're coming right up on the top of the hour, getting ready to turn things over to Derby Nation. DerbyNation.tv and the Derby Tees crew. Jump online if you want to see all the action that's coming up here.
You all right?
We'll try to figure
you gonna make it?
I'm trying desperately hard not to
Lose your voice?
Well, sort of. I've been talking now so long. All of this stuff is starting to trickle down. And
Well, let's go, man. Let's get to the action.
Better out than in, right?
Absolutely.
Run through the schedule one more time after you let me know what you found over there.
It was cool. I got over to the inspection line and there was kind of a lull. So Mike Decker was there and I asked him some questions and then Toby Hiley joined the conversation. It doesn't get a whole lot better.
Right.
Talking Derby history with those guys.
Fatty went back to the hotel. He got 2 hours of sleep in last night. He was hanging out with Toast, Vince Olivius. Was hanging out with Toast, and they watched Derby videos on YouTube for 2 hours.
Crazy, man.
And they were like, he goes, you can learn so much. And then I told him about Don Santel talking with Toby Hiley on Friday, and he goes, I was inspecting cars. It would have been nice to go over there because you would have learned so much.
Absolutely.
And I felt bad. It's like suddenly I feel like I'm insulting the guy. It's not my point, But youth cars are coming out. The projected schedule after that is going to include the consies for Turn Back the Clock and the 80s Newer, 80s Wire Class group, 70s Wire Class, trucks, compact feature, and the other features. So we got youth, 2 consies, 3 groups, wire class,
Joker's wire,
trucks,
full-size trucks.
We have 11 rounds of action today that starts in about a half hour.
Yeah. You and I are going to get home sometime tomorrow morning.
Sometime, yep. And then Turn Back the Clock. Right now, it's looking like Turn Back the Clock feature will be last on the track. Ready for it?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
We're going to go tool around. If we can commandeer a golf cart someplace, we're going to go tool around a little bit.
No problem. We'll get one of those. Got to go over and say hi to Russ, shake his hand, tell him it's good to see him.
See Russ.
That's the first thing we're going to do as soon as we sign off.
And then we'll be Facebook Live a couple times through the course of the afternoon from the pit area, tooling around, letting you see what people are working on. Because out of respect for the guys that are doing the pay-per-view and the folks that we work with closely at Derby Nation, we will not be Facebook Living the action on the track.
Nope.
And we would appreciate all the folks that who that have been in our corner and stop people from doing that when we were in Utah, and it would be greatly appreciated if you afforded them the same consideration.
Absolutely.
So that's going to do it for our live coverage from the inspection line of Bash for Cash 2017. We appreciate everybody who watched along with us. Enjoy the action, enjoy the racing, or the Derby action that's out there. We're going to be back, I think their studio time either Tuesday or Wednesday. So there's no need for us to get home at 2 in the morning and then do a show on Memorial Day. I think we should
just do it when we get home.
When we get home, just go right to the studio.
Right to the studio, go to work.
Depending on how the features go, it might be the case. That's going to do it for us. Again, appreciate everybody watching, and we will see you again later on this week. We are the Crash Course Podcast. Typically, it's on Monday nights on FingerLakes1.tv. Turning you over now to Derby Nation. We'll see you then.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby Podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.